Hey, it's Joddie Taylor of SnackySays.com. Welcome back to my podcast. Today, I'm just going to be chatting about things I've been pondering, just wondering. It's all subjective. It's all going to be very open-ended. I'm hoping that as we chat, maybe I'll come to some conclusions, but it's okay if I don't, because I'm now just kind of thinking out loud, just things that have been on my mind. So let's get into it. It's not order of importance. I don't really have any notes. I don't have a clear-cut plan here except to talk about what's been on my mind. So, number one, why am I so hungry? I am so hungry. And at the same time, lately I'm so tired, like not decision fatigue. You know that age-old argument, what are we going to have for dinner? That's not what's going on. I can't even think of anything that I'm craving, that I want to eat. I must eat because I get hungry, but then I eat and I still don't feel full. I still don't feel satisfied. It could be something really practical, like I'm not consuming enough protein, even though I'm not sure that that's it. I don't know what's going on. I'm super annoyed by it. And as of this recording, I'm on day 2 of this feeling, and I hate it, and I hope it will pass. If you've had this experience, I'd love to hear why you think this happens. Yes, it could be hormonal. It could just be, I don't know what's going on. It's very strange. I really haven't experienced this before. It's not really like, oh, there's nothing to eat. You know, I've definitely had that. You might have had that, where you're standing in front of a full refrigerator and it's nothing that you want. But in that case, I could usually think of, you know what I really want? I want blah, blah, blah from that restaurant. Or I want that macaroni salad that so-and-so makes. I got nothing. Okay, let's move on. I'm wondering why so many Chinese dramas that I love and I watch and I commit my time to, it's a time commitment. Chinese dramas can be 40, 50, even more episodes deep, 45 minutes to an hour. And my beef, okay, yes, I'm going to say it. My beef with Chinese dramas, or at least the ones I've seen, and I should preface this by saying I am in the middle of bopping between 4 or 5 different Chinese dramas right now. So this beef that I have is not stopping me from watching Chinese dramas. But my beef is the episodes are long. It's a lot. Like, seriously, it's a lot time-wise. And then you get to the end, and more often than not, maybe just the dramas I watch, the ending is rushed. So we have 40 episodes to get to know the characters, the second leads, the third leads, the backstories, the plot twists, the big bad. And then the ending, it's like amazing. There will be 20 episodes out of the 40 with flashbacks. Unnecessary in my opinion, but whatever, I'm not a director. And so it wastes all this time with flashbacks. I guess I'm picking on the flashbacks because I'm like, really? We got a 20-second happy ending and like hours of flashbacks? Couldn't we have like not done that? So again, maybe it's just the dramas that I watch. And I have my favorites. And you know what? I'm going to apply this to Korean dramas too. I haven't watched that many Korean dramas in the last year for a variety of reasons. I've mostly watched Chinese dramas, even though I did watch Bad and Crazy on Netflix very recently and loved it. It's short, drama-wise. It's only 12 episodes. Each episode is about an hour. If you loved Moon Knight, you'll love it. And if you love Korean dramas. Anyway, it's a legitimate beef I have. We have all of these episodes, and then we get to the end. Like, let's say there's a main character who has been missing or is presumed dead, and they will literally pop up in the last 20 or 10 seconds, and someone will say their name like, it's you? And then it's credits. It's end scene, and it's like, what? Or it'll end, and it's very like, it's a definite cliffhanger where you just have, or I'll just talk about myself. I have so many questions. Like, what? Where are they? What? What's going on? The other thing is that it's changed in the last couple of years, last 2 years for sure, probably. But there usually aren't season twos. There usually is not a part two. There's no follow up. So things just end, and it's like, what? I'm telling you, I'm not going to name names because I do recognize that this is subjective, but among my favorite dramas, I have to say, whether Korean or Chinese, I'm thinking of my top 10. Easily, 8 of them, I was either disappointed or extremely unsatisfied or confused by the last episode. It's like, what? Huh? Okay, let's end here. Let's move on, because I'm not a film critic. I'm just kind of like sharing my beef with you. Let me know if you found this the same. I can't think of an American counterpart, because American series just aren't that long. It's just totally different, and it's different. It's apples and oranges. And in truth, now that I think, it's okay, let's move on. Can't compare. The other thing I'm wondering about is, how can I put this? I guess transformation, the painful part of transformation, not the drudgery, the painful part. So when I think about change, when I think about starting over, I think of a phoenix, right? And you may recall, if you are, let me get this right. I think either on my website or my newsletter, I once mentioned a book that I bought called First the Phoenix Must Burn. It's I think it's a fantasy book. I had the hardcover copy. Anyway, what I like about that title, this has nothing to do with the book, but what I like about it is it made me think differently. I always thought of myself as like a phoenix because I could always start over. But the part that I missed was the part, I'm not saying that I should focus on it, but I kind of just like, I just kind of like, it never really registered to me that, yes, you can start over. But in order to start over, if you're a phoenix, you have to burn. And what does that feel like? If you're a cat with 9 lives, to get to the next life, how do you do that? And what does that feel like? It's part of the process. And I feel like to some extent I've been talking about this in one way or another, and maybe I'll continue to talk about it and try to articulate for myself what it feels like to change and evolve, and why, if it hurts, why bother? Is it human nature? Is it my nature to keep going? You may have heard the expression before, rising for a fall, which is kind of depending on how you interpret it, kind of like maybe a little mean, a little sarcastic. It's basically watching somebody go up that must come down. What goes up must come down, right? It's the law. That's how it works. So it's like I think I've heard this expression used toward, like, again, that person is a jerk, rising for a fall, like they're on top now, but we'll see, right? What goes up must come down. So if you strive for something, and again, this is my loosey-goosey interpretation. All words are made up. Thank you, Thor. If you watch MCU, Marvel Cinematic Universe, you know what I'm referring to. But in the same way, all phrases, you can spin it any way you want. So how I'm spinning rising for a fall is, if you rise and you fall, right? You could just sit there. You could just lay there. But you could also get up and try again and fall badly and get up and try again. So what is that? Is that resilience? Is it just being foolish? I'm asking for a friend. I'm asking. I haven't quite articulated it. I haven't quite figured it out. And maybe I'll never figure it out, right? Which leads me to the next thing that I'm wondering. I often wonder what am I missing? What do I need to learn? What am I here to learn, right? If I look back on my life, I see some repeating patterns. Like, I tend to meet the same kind of people. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but why is that? Do I need to handle situations differently? Do I need to handle relationships differently? Do I need to change something? What is the common denominator? Surprise, it's me, right? So, like, am I attracting certain things? And nothing happened. I'm not thinking about this or reacting based on any recent events. Just reflecting, just wondering and pondering. Like, I've noticed that I tend to meet people, this is a real life example, whose birthday is literally in the same week or on the same day. And like, like, there's so many days in a year. Like, how is that possible that I keep meeting people with like the same birthday or the same something? Like, there are just these patterns that come up, and there's nothing bad about them. Maybe there's nothing even good, but I am curious. I'm really, really super curious about it. And it just makes me wonder, like, what is even happening? Like, I'm going to take a random month. I'm going to pick a month where I actually don't know folks with March. March is a month where I don't know a lot of people whose birthday is in March. But let's pick March. And let's say I'm always meeting folks who are born on March 10th. And I guess that's worth mentioning because not March 10th, but the pattern, because it's rare that these people overlap. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'll know someone who's born on March 10th, and then I don't know them anymore. We don't work together. He moved, she moved, different, blah, 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 blah. And then I'll meet someone else. So those people never meet. Just wondering. So yeah, this is stuff that I'm pondering. I don't think there's anything super deep, but it's just stuff that's been on my mind. So I thought I would share. And I see that my battery is dying, my phone battery. I'm recording this on my phone. And so the last thing I'm going to end with is, I wonder why my smartphones like pretty much die 2 years after I buy them. To be fair, this phone is over 3 years old now. So it's really, really time to start looking for a new phone. And to be fair, like I said, I could set my watch to it. Exactly 2 years after I got it, it started acting up. But it's getting worse. Like, this battery should not be dead right now. I just wonder why this has to happen, because these phones are super expensive. If memory serves, this phone was probably $600 or $700 when I got it. Little did I know that a new version of the phone would be coming out 2 months later. But at the time, I really didn't need a new phone. Why? Because the phone I had was doing exactly this. It'd be supercharged, take it off the charger, walk 2 steps, and then it'd be on 50%. It's so frustrating. I think this is one thing that I probably don't need to wonder about. I feel like everyone has this experience. If you've had a smartphone, besides maybe the very first smartphone you owned, if you got your first you got your first smartphone, let's say 15 years ago. I mean, the cell phone that I had back in the day, I bet you if I plugged that bad boy in right now and connected it, it would run like a charm. That's not the expression. It would run like a... Okay, let's move on. This is not going to be my new catchphrase. I don't know why I keep saying, let's move on. But my point is, they don't make things like they used to. Technology. Am I right? All right. Let's end here. Thank you for listening. Wow, I almost went 15 minutes. If I shared everything that I'm wondering, we'd be sitting here all day. Seriously, thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you. This is Joddie Taylor, SnackySays.com. Take care.